Good morning. Good morning to everybody and a good Yom Tov. Chag Sameach. Chag Sameach. Chag HaChagim. The holiday of all holidays. The day that was fixed to be a day that we pray on this day, and it has the power of the prayer of Yom Kippur. Today is called Rosh Hashanah LaChasidut, a day in which Admur HaZaken says that whoever rejoices in his joy today, he will take him from his confinement to great abundance. What is today? Some 230 years ago, there was a rabbi in Russia. This rabbi, by the name of Rabbi Shneor Zalman of Liadi, was a student of the Maggid of Mezrich. The Maggid of Mezrich is none other than the successor of the Baal Shem Tov. Let's go back in history and let me share with you a story of great importance. In the city of Sfat, many years ago, many years before that, lived a water carrier by the name of Shraga Feivel. Shraga Feivel was once approached. One day somebody knocked at his door and he said, "Are you Shraga Feivel?" He said, "Yes." "Well, I am Elijah the prophet. I am Eliyahu HaNavi himself. And I've come to tell you, to disclose to you the date that Mashiach will be revealed." You can imagine his emotion, his excitement. Eliyahu HaNavi comes to my house and is going to reveal to me when Mashiach comes. But there is one condition, Eliyahu HaNavi said. You have to reveal to me what is the mitzvah that you did on the day of your bar mitzvah at the age of 13. The water carrier said, answered Eliyahu without hesitation, whatever I did on the day of my bar mitzvah is nobody's business. It's between me and Hashem. When Eliyahu HaNavi ascended on high, there was such a noise, such a tumult in heaven that a Jew did a mitzvah for absolutely no other sake than the sake of God, that it was decided that Eliyahu HaNavi himself would come down and teach this simple Jew, simple water carrier of Tzfat, Torah, every day. And eventually the secrets of Torah. He was elevated to becoming a tzaddik, a very righteous and holy man. But what we refer to as a tzaddik nistar, a hidden tzaddik. Nobody knew about him. He didn't change anything of his previous behavior. Everybody thought he was a simple, ignorant water carrier. What happened at the end is he was buried as a simple man. When his neshama ascended on high, there was a big question: what do you do with a neshama, a soul that was never, ever given any type of kavod, any honors whatsoever, and did everything for the sake of God? And it was decided on high that this neshama would come down to the world and actually reveal secrets of Torah to the world and prepare the world, give the world the tools we need to be able to prepare the world for Mashiach. This soul is none other than the soul of the founder of Hasidism, Rabbi Israel Baal Shem Tov. Now, when you think about this, it's extraordinary. Here we have a simple man with a simple faith, with a deep connection to God, but somebody which is completely sincere in his avodat Hashem, completely sincere in his service of God. The Baal Shem Tov therefore reveals Torah Chasidut, the secrets of Hasidic philosophy, introduces the world to a new level of understanding. As he does so, He started going from city to city to spread the words of Chassidut, just like Avraham Avinu, Abraham, our forefather, went from city to city, from place to place to spread God's name. The world at the time was in a state, the Torah world was in a state of ilafon, of faint, in the sense that yes, Jews were observant, but everything was very, very robotic, everything was very lifeless. And therefore, the Baal Shem Tov came to the world and brought Torah Chasidut, the secrets of Chasidut, to the world in order to bring back to life not only the simple people, but to bring back to life those who are learned, those who are connected to God, but are lacking a relationship with God. Connected to God, but lacking a relationship with God. The Baal Shem Tov eventually had what's called the Chavraya Kadisha, a very special holy society of tzaddikim, of holy men, which were hidden tzaddikim, which would go into communities and encourage and strengthen the Jewish people through their sorrow and through the oppressions. And they were very, very criticized. The Baal Shem Tov was criticized by the great sages of Torah, which didn't accept the concept that a simple Jew really has any value. The Baal Shem Tov realized that no, the greatest value is to simplicity. Simplicity in Chassidut represents an aspect which is so great that it says, Pshita de Asiya Magat at Pshita de Ensof. The simple, sincere act of a Jew is able to reach the simplicity of God, the infinity, and the secret of His infinity. The Baal Shem Tov then had a student which excelled. His name was Rabbi Dov Ber. Rabbi Dov Ber became his successor. Rabbi Dov Ber already stopped the traveling because Hasidut was already known more to the world. And he started teaching the deep concepts of Hasidut, of the Baal Shem Tov, of Hasidic philosophy, to his students. Amongst his students, there was a very young student, the youngest of the group. His name was Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi. How did Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, a Litvak, somebody which really was an Ilui, he was a genius in Torah, and how did he end up in the Hasidic court? Him not really coming from a Hasidic background. Well, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, when he grew in Torah and grew at the greatest possible levels of knowledge and genius, he asked himself, where should I go? Should I go to Vilna and over there study more of the revealed aspect of Torah? Or should I go to Mezrich and study with the Magid of Mezrich, which will teach me how to pray? And he decided to go to the Magid of Mezrich. It's not enough to be connected with the study. He said, studying, Baruch Hashem, I know pretty well. But praying, I don't know how to pray. What is prayer? Prayer is the intimate relationship we build with Hashem. You speak the words. You let the soul express itself. The soul speaks through you about its great connection to God, and it embraces God through prayer. Admor HaZaken learned by the Magid of Mezrich, and all the Torah of the Magid was given to him. he did something for the Baal Shem Tov and for the Magid, for their teachings, which no other student did. He took this vast knowledge, these great secrets of Torah, and put them all in the teachings in a way that is not only words of inspiration that inspire the heart, give you a boost to the soul, but actually a system. He created a system of Avodat Hashem, a system in the serving of God, that when you serve God, you should be able to meditate on the greatness of God. You should be able to contemplate on it. So when we say about contemplating and meditating on the greatness of God, I'm not talking about the type of meditation we find in many circles, even Jewish meditation. We're talking about taking a concept and sitting with that concept. I'm going to give you an example, and hopefully you will understand. If I were to ask you right now, what is the definition of infinity, what would you answer? You can answer on the chat if you wish. Infinity, boundless, above time, above space, above definition, something that is endless, something which is not palpable. Think about infinity for a second and contemplate on the concept of infinity, knowing that God is infinite. And then bring this to yourself and think to yourself, I have a soul. Admor HaZaken, the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, explains in the Tanya chapter 2 that this soul is a chelek eloka mima'al mamash. It is a portion, a part of God from above, really. What does that mean? Practically speaking, it means that we have infinity inside of us. Now, imagine if we actually believed that. Would anything be impossible? Wouldn't we be putting more effort in digging inside to be able to tap into this infinity? And how would we use this infinity in the world? What would be our relationship with the world as a result of that knowledge? But it's not enough to have knowledge. It's not enough to have the epiphany, which is called chokhmah, wisdom. It's not enough to have bina, which is understanding. We need to own the wisdom and understanding, and that is called the da'at. Da'at, you could say, is emotional intelligence in a sense. It's emotional clarity. It is the perfect gap that is missing between the brain and the heart, which is filled and consolidated into a clear vision, a clear feeling, a clear, detailed understanding and vision. That is what Admor HaZaken did. He takes the concepts which are the loftiest concepts, and instead of making these words of just inspiration, which make you dance, which make you sing, which make you motivated for a moment till you encounter your reality again. What does he do? Admor HaZaken makes a whole Torah, which means he makes a whole order in Chassidut and tells you this is the path. What is his purpose with this path? We're going to explain what that path is. We have two operating systems. We all know that if you have an Apple computer, you will not know the operating system of a normal MS-DOS, or I don't know, however you call it today, computer system. The Apple and the Android are two operating systems. Admur HaZaken in the Tanya explains to us that inside of us we have two operating systems. We have one operating system, which is the Nefesh Elokit, that godly soul, that part of infinity which has been blown into through our nostrils and is a part of our innermost self. That operating system only has one will and one will alone. I want to cleave unto God. I want nothing of this world. I want nothing with the confinement of the body. I want to connect to my source, just like the flame is in a constant longing and movement to escape the confinement of the wick which is holding it down. And it is ready to disappear and not to be just to be close and one with its source. So too the soul is in that state in a consistent way. That's the operating system of the soul. One will, one connection, and that's it. Then we have another operating system. And the problem is that this operating system is in our body, in our blood. It's called the Nefesh HaBehami, not the godly soul, Nefesh Eloki, but rather Nefesh HaBehami, the animalistic soul. In Yiddish, I would say that this animalistic soul has what's called the Spilkis. It is inherently, today the Spilkis has been translated into a big terminology called ADHD. It's basically all over the place. It sees, it desires, it longs for, it wants to catch this, and then it doesn't even finish with this. It already wants to catch something else. Whatever it can get of pleasures of this world and excitement and experience, it wants. It has many, many wants. How do you make shalom bayit? How do you make peace between these two operating systems? A soul with one desire to God, and a body with many, many desires to anything and everything it sees, tastes, hears, smells, feels. And especially when tzurot ke'almanot, the soul is confined within that system. You're sent in a system that's not your system. What do you do? What do you do with a turbulent child in your classroom of 30 students, and that child is all over the place, and he's making trouble, and everybody's following him? Beat him down, punish him, give him chores, throw him out of the class. That's all good and fine, but you're not getting anywhere. What really we need to do is to take the child, sit with him, and explain to him, you are beautiful. You have such a drive, so much great desires. Imagine if you understood that these desires can be used for the good. And then you make the good valuable to his eyes. You explain to him in great detail the potential that he has. You explain to him what power he has and what impact he has. Suddenly you've shifted that young student and you told him he is a leader, and now he becomes a leader for the positive. You've changed the whole classroom from a classroom which was noisy and turbulent to a classroom which is vibrant, energized, powerful. This is what we need to do with the Nefesh HaBehami, the animal soul. We need to explain to the animal soul how, for its benefit, it would be better if it used that great energy and these great desires and channeled them towards the desires of the godly soul. And at that moment, you made shalom. You made peace between the animal soul and the godly soul. The animal soul, with its intellect, looks at the world and understands there's a higher purpose. There's meaning in the world. There is a mission that it has to elevate the physical world. The Alter Rebbe, what he did with the Tanya, which is the fundamental book of Hasidut, Chabad, which takes the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid and brings them down to earth in a way that is tangible and practical to us. I would say that the Tanya is a book of Shalom Bayit, a book that makes peace between husband and wife, between the animal soul and the godly soul, for you to figure out who is who in your relationship. Anyway, so the Tanya is there to teach the animal soul to start contemplating on things which are of a higher nature. It's true the nature of the animal is to look down. A cow, for example, has its heart higher than its head, and therefore when it eats, the heart, the emotions are dominating the mind. We are standing upright, and therefore our mind naturally is able to control our heart. But if we want to take it to another level, let's fill the mind with something other than social media nonsense. Let's fill the mind with Torah, and within Torah, let's fill the mind with the godliness, with detail, with depth, with understanding, so that when we meditate about a concept like infinity, for example, it becomes so real, so close to us, so close to our reality, that we say, I have a choice to invest myself in something which is fake, temporary, or I have the choice to invest myself in something which is infinity. What do I want to do? So you train yourself through meditation. Through prayer, you create that relationship. That's why prayer is so important. Yes, you can be very knowledgeable. It doesn't mean that you have a real relationship with God. You could be married, share the same house, maybe even the same bedroom. It doesn't mean that you have a relationship. The stronger the relationship, the stronger the person is outside to face the different temptations that assault him every day. When you create that relationship through prayer, through meditation, when you understand and you really delve into the teachings of Hasidut, you see suddenly a magnifying mirror before you that shows you the infinite power you have inside of you. On the day of Yutet Kislev, Admur HaZaken, the author of the Tanya, was liberated from jail. The Tanya has 53 chapters. Admur HaZaken was accused of many accusations, and that's why he was put in jail. In the jail, the Baal Shem Tov and his teacher, the Maggid of Mezrich, even though they had passed away, came to visit him. And they told him, you know why you're in jail? Because you're spreading the teachings of Hasidut. Imagine that the teachings of Hasidut are an elixir. They are a medicine against all the sicknesses of exile and bring clarity and dominion to man over his pulses and the different drives, negative drives. So obviously there's going to be accusations in the heavens on the negative side of the Satan that does not want this to be spread. So he said to the Baal Shem Tov and to the Magid, should I continue doing what I'm doing? And to this, they said, not only you continue, you will go even stronger. And indeed, not only did he go stronger, even the government of Russia gave him an honorary status after putting him in jail, to him and his children. The effect of Hasidut went beyond the Jewish people, even to the non-Jewish people. Hasidut is these teachings of the Tanya, right? He was liberated on the 53rd day. He was liberated today, Yutet Kislev, and he said that this day is so powerful that whoever rejoices in this day and participates in this day, just like we are right now together, I will take him out of his confinement and bring him to abundance and joy. This is a very special day for all of us, today and tomorrow. It's a day where we have to ask ourselves, what do we want from our lives? Do we want to live a lower life, or do we want to live a higher life? And this, the Tanya, would be a preparation to Mashiach. Because what will happen when Mashiach reveals himself, and we see as history is unfolding itself day by day in Israel and everywhere in the world, we see that the world is aligning itself with Mashiach. By us studying Hasidut, we are actually going in depth. We are touching the deepest levels of our soul that it is unaffected by sin, by troubles and tribulations. And by studying Hasidut, we're able to reveal our souls in a way that is above and beyond whatever could be done before Hasidut was revealed to the world. To one that once asked the Rebbe, I don't understand, so many generations did not have the benefits of Hasidut. Why does Hasidut, why did it need to be revealed now? The Rebbe answered, there were many sicknesses that didn't exist before. To new sicknesses, you need special medicine. The Alter Rebbe revealing and being able on high to being permitted and encouraged to spread Hasidut, this is a great celebration. If today Judaism stands on its feet, whether it is Sephardic, Ashkenazic, Hasidic, or whatever the denomination is, it is thanks to this day. This liberation of the Alter Rebbe from jail, as a result of that, you have 6,000 centers today spreading Hasidut in the world. As a result of that, Jews, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Jews, are impacted in a positive way to connect with God. So on this day, I'd like to say L'chaim, L'chaim. And I would like to encourage everyone to take upon yourself to start learning Hasidut, start learning Tanya. There are many classes on Chabad.org and many, many rabbis which are teaching Tanya. You could just put Tanya classes, whatever language you want, put it on the Google and you'll find it. Today, the knowledge of God is at your reach. So make a commitment today and then ask the Alter Rebbe in his merit that he should save you from whatever situation you're in, that you need to be saved from. We all have issues in our lives that we need help with, sometimes children, sometimes spouses. Whatever it is, Hashem should give us Lishana Tova, a year which is good, where we are inscribed in the ways of Chassidut and in the study of Chassidut. And our minds and our hearts should be filled with that knowledge.